Welcome everybody to the new show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I proudly bring to you the most electrifying show on YouTube, and I have no name for it. Well, um, one of my all-time favorite YouTube channels is Heel Heat. Uh, don't worry, Deadly Sins, you're close second, along with Coke Mode. Um, but I wanted to do a top 10, because Gary and George at Heel Heat, Gary's favorite wrestler being Mr. Perfect, George's favorite wrestler being, Mick Foley. I thought I'd do a top 10 of Josh's favorite wrestlers. And past, present. Kind of hard to do future, but, who knows. Well, anyway, so here goes. At number 10, he is a former cruiserweight champion, the Ayatollah of rock and roll, the first ever undisputed champion, a six-time world champion, um, Chris Y2J or Lionheart Jericho. Now, I love Jericho because the guy can fly, he can talk, he can do submission, and, well, Codebreaker being one of my favorite finishers of all time, so, you know. And the matches he had with Dean Malenko blew my mind. And the late great Eddie Guerrero and tagging with Lance Storm early in his career. And now I get to look forward to possible another match. Well, possible. I mean, it's probably gonna happen. Match with CM Punk. And to me, the match at WrestleMania a couple years ago stole the show. So anyway, here goes. Number 9 on my list. Well, he helped train with DDP. He was one of the most innovative wrestlers at his time. He was Mortis. He was Chris Canyon. I love Canyon. What about me? What about Canyon? Right? Yeah. Oh, my nose. So Chris Canyon, I mean, tag team champ, US champ. I never felt like he got the break he deserved. He was as good as Diamond Dallas Page. He was better than 90% of the roster in WWE, 90% of the roster in WCW. I mean, and he's lost the business. He was a good man outside of the ring. Kenyon is going to be missed. He really is. Moving on to number 8. Number 8 would be beautiful Bobby Eaton. I mean, Midnight Express. Bobby Eaton's title run with the TV title was one of my favorites. And the TV champ, that title meant a lot to me. Because some of the greatest wrestlers held that title over the years, and Bobby Eaton can say one of those. And I am a huge Bobby Eaton fan. I love the Midnight Express. Um, my favorite's got to be Bobby Eaton, Stan Lane. Um, so, I mean, you know, what can you say about Beautiful Bobby? He's multi tag team champ, U.S. tag team champ. You know, he headlined a Clash of the Champions with Ric Flair. You believed in him. I mean, you really did. By the way, I'm growing the Rick Rude mustache. Um, anyway, I don't know how the girls gonna feel about that, but we'll see. Can't grow the beard is the word. Um, but you know, Bobby Eaton just when he hit you with that right hand, you heard that smack. It just you felt it. You're like, oh God, that had to hurt. You know, even though you know he probably didn't even connect. Um, he was an average talker. Average. Usually they put him with like Paul Heyman, or they put him with Jim Cornette, somebody who could talk. At one point they put him with Regal, but the man won titles. No matter who he was partners with, he won titles. And when they put Bobby Eaton and Arn Anderson together, I knew that was future world tag team champs. And to watch them wrestle like the Steiners and all the big baby faces in WCW was an amazing time. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, that was the low time of WCW before the Bischoff boom," but you gotta remember, I grew up watching Saturday Night. I grew up watching, the NWA and little bitty like not bingo halls, but watching the NWA and like high school gyms and stuff like that. You know, I mean, it's just it's how it is. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, so we're moving on to our next. See where are we at? Six, no, seven, seven. Number seven, Flying Brian Pillman. Pillman was just an innovator all the way up to his death. He brought the luchador style of high flying wrestling, speed and everything into WCW, and he blew the roof off of the place whenever he did. And then when he was the loose cannon, that was, I mean, you just love that character. I mean, it was perfect for that time. Um, and he and Austin, wow, Hollywood Blondes. Not the original Hollywood Blondes, but the Hollywood Blondes nonetheless. I don't remember who it was that was the original, but I read somewhere that they weren't the first. Um, so, I mean, I think Pillman, he didn't achieve too much as far as title runs. I mean, the light heavyweight title, um, and the tag titles. I mean, that's about it. But the guy just, he blew you away with what he do on the mic and in the ring. And that's what impressed me. And he and Tom Zink were a hell of a team together. And you know, of course, he'll be missed. Moving on to number 6 on the countdown. Number 6 is, well, an ECW favorite. And George can respect this. I loved Shane Douglas. I mean, I was a big Douglas fan. I marked out for the stupid ass, like, dynamic dude thing when I was young. But I mean, I was a kid. But Shane, I think he gets this bad rap. Like, he can't do anything unless he curses or whatever. The guy is a hell of an athlete. I mean, he is a, you know, one hell of an athlete, and he could talk on the mic. You know, he could shoot with the best of them. And whenever he would do his shoot interviews about Ric Flair or somebody else, you just felt the just emotion, the raw emotion come out. And you know, of course, when he was in WWE, they gave him that stupid ass Dean Douglas gimmick, and you know what? It wasn't he. I'm sure he, well, probably didn't care, but it was a shit gimmick. When you get shit gimmicks like that, you don't give a shit. I always point at my drink like that. Ever since that whole Shane McMahon Triple H water incident where Shane tries to drug him and he switches bottles, and he just points at the bottle as he's drinking it. Anyway, getting off topic. Back to Douglas. TV champ, tag champs. He was a world champ. And yes, he was an ECW world champ. But need us not forget, he was also NWA heavyweight champion. Okay, number 5. Number 5. For my good friend, Gary Rhodes, Curt Hennig. One of my all-time favorites. What can you say about the man that hasn't been said? Perfect. Simply perfect. Intercontinental champion, AWA champion, WCW US champion, tag champs. He's been a world champ. He's been Intercontinental champion. He back when the IC title meant something. And we've been tag champs. I mean, U.S. champion. Oh God, he made that belt worth it again after years of crap. And he will be missed. And I love the fact that Curtis Axel is taking on his father's legacy, and I think the kid, if given the ball, he can run with it. I think he can. But it's about his dad, and his dad was one of the greatest wrestlers ever. The man could talk, he could play pool, he could bowl. His vignettes were amazing, amazing, and the boys all talk great about him. You know, they say he had a great sense of humor. You know, he was a good man, and the wrestling community will miss him. And you know what? R.I.P. Kurt. Moving on to number 4. A lot of thought went into this one. A lot of thought. And you know what? 4 being such a specific number, well, I gotta make it a group. I mean, really, how can you not make this a group? And any wrestling fan will tell you, when you see this, 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 those 4 fingers, you think of only one thing, the 4 horsemen. And I gotta go in as a group. There's just too many of them, honestly. Ole, I went to school with Ole's daughter, his youngest daughter. Gorgeous, by the way. His, I mean, Ole, Arn. Oh, anybody that knows me knows I'm a big Arn. Arn, Tully, Barry, Rick, Sting. Make Sting. But for this one, I ain't putting Sting in. But the Horsemen, JJ. The Horsemen as a group. I mean, the real Horsemen. I don't mean the crap that they try to feed us with Paul Roma or Sid Vicious. Even Lex Luger. He wasn't a real Horseman. He was just somebody that filled the spot while they did the whole Barry Windham thing, which turned out better anyway for the Horsemen. I mean, I can't say enough about them. They won every title. They're Hall of Famers. Just boom. I mean, really, they brought heel faction to another level. To another level. Okay. Number 3. Number 3, I thought about it a lot. And for me, it's got to be my favorite heel of all time. That would be Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. And, I love Paul Orndorff. I mean, power driver. My favorite thing was the elbow. When he'd do that little shake and then he'd drop that elbow down. Oh, wow. Me and my friends, when we would be in the backyard, just like, wrestling, putting on matches and stuff, I would always do that elbow. And we all just cheered every time that somebody got hit with that elbow. It was just amazing. And, he's a Hall of Famer. He is wonderful. To me, he's wonderful. Okay, moving on to number 2. Well, I thought about this and thought about this. And I had 2 men in mind. And I thought, well, a lot of the guys that I got in my top 10 are from the past. So why not put somebody in the present? Well, my favorite wrestler in TNA at the moment, without a doubt, is James Storm. I love the Cowboy James Storm. I've loved him since America's Most Wanted, because he's got this feel of Shawn Michaels meets Stone Cold Steve Austin to me. And I thought, yes, that will be a clue for later. But hold on, texting. The girlfriend won. Well, hopefully future girlfriend. Can't say girlfriend yet. But, she won her softball game. So I'm super proud. But James Storm, I think his title run was too short. Um, I do agree with Bobby Roode getting the title, and I think that he should have, you know, he should have had a longer run, and at least should have been the one to beat Bobby Roode. Now, Austin Aries, I mean, like Aries could beat Storm for the title, but Storm should have won the title. But I love the direction that they're finally taking with him. You know, he and Gunner are a tag team, and I like to call them beer and guns. You know, and to me, like that will be the best match at Slammiversary. You got beer and guns. You got the best it factor that's ever lived. I mean, I've also heard them call it the wet dream, you know, which actually fits. It fits. I think it's funny, and I think it's probably a good thing. The bad influence, and then those stereotypicos, you know, which is the cheap ass LAX ripoff. I mean, hell, it's worse than that one he had, Hernandez, and that one guy when they had the two girls, the two uh Serena and whatever. That was awful. Oh my god, that was awful. You know, I mean, I think I think when they had Shelly Martinez, with them, that was hot. Shelly Martinez. I'm getting off track. I'm getting off track. Okay, James Storm, and I think Baron Guns will win the TNA World Tag Team titles, and I'm excited for it. Um, so here we go. The as George and Gary like to do best of the rest, why not Josh do the best of the rest? We got Earthquake, one of the best big men ever in the sport. Tall wrestler, could get you to hate him, could get you to love him. Um, was an amazing talent, and another great big man, Bam Bam Bigelow. I mean, ECW tag titles, television title, world title. He's former world champion. He's won like immense amounts of titles throughout his career. The Beast from the East. Well, Big Boss Man. Another one from Cobb County, Georgia. Me being from Georgia, I'm kind of biased a little bit. Um, he was a guy who would work people. He was one of the guys that worked people to build him up to Hogan. Um, he did it well, and he got over immensely. He's former hardcore champion, um, former, I believe, United States champion, and of course he's infamous for dropping Jim Cornette. Or I'm sorry, not catching Jim Cornette and having Cornette blow his knees out. DDP, um, a guy who started his career at like 35, 40. I mean, the guy was so good in the ring, and I loved it. He had great catchphrases. He was great on the mic. Self high five. I mean, that was amazing. I mean, really. I mean, it did kind of remind me of the Barry Horowitz back pat. But again, a wonderful talent, former world champ, U.S. champ, tag champ, TV champ. Now Gary got Mr. Perfect. Now George, don't give me crap, but the last one on the Best of the Rest barely missed Mick Foley. And I'm sorry, George, but Mick Foley, this guy's been a former world champ, hardcore champ. He tag champs. He's done a lot. Best-selling author, but we're talking about wrestling. The man brought hardcore up. He and Terry Funk took hardcore from here to here. And a guy who just, his matches made you go, what the hell? I mean, really. His feud with Triple H is legendary. But the reason I put him there is the Socko. That's the only reason he missed my list, was because it's not his fault. That's more of the gimmick he was getting. And number one, you heard the ringtone, which that's the old ringtone, but the new ringtone, Colt personality, and the number one wrestler, my number one favorite wrestler, is the best in the world, CM Punk. The man has won countless titles. He has had great matches with everybody, including John Cena. He actually had a great match with John Cena, and you know how hard that was? Oh my god. I don't know how many people can honestly say they can go in the ring and have a great match with John Cena. Well, not to steal someone's shtick, like favorite, you think I put somebody too high, too low, somebody missed it all together. Give me your opinion. And Gary, put it down where? Down there in the comments. And I don't want to steal their shtick, but who's next? I am starting out, but yeah, just put it right there. Right down there, below us, below. But I can't wait to hear some feedback, and hopefully I will have another video soon, and a name. And I hope to God I have a name. So that's all I've got from the best in the world. Ha ha ha. Have a nice day.